Jesus, alright. Just see like an old woman coming out of the darkness, that would scare me. Hey internet, it's Jessica, and welcome to Along the Edge. So, god damn it. I did play this game earlier, but the file corrupted, so here we go again! Anyway, the game developers of this game sent me a Steam key to try it out. I heard that this game is like Life is Strange, like the choices you make, heavily impact the story, so I was really interested in that. At the same time, it seems very French. If that makes any sense, like, I can tell that this story's gonna be very emotionally invested and something, like, weird is gonna happen, just from, like, what I played earlier, too. It seemed like something weird was happening in the story, but anyway, let's find out what's gonna be. So, if you guys would like to get the game yourself, there's a link in the description to their Steam page if you would like to get the game yourself. Anyway, let's get started. Along the Edge is an interactive graphic novel. During your adventure, you'll be asked to make choices that will define how your story progresses. Some of the choices will have direct consequences, forking the story in one direction instead of another. However, each of your decisions, even the most acidotic, will have an impact on the personalities of the main character, Daphne. So, the choices we make will change how our MC is, which I think is really totally cool. And at the same time, you can see, like what her personality will go towards. I still don't know, like, what side represents what, but I just think it's really cool that they incorporated that. So, is it settled? Yes, I guess I need a fresh start. This inheritance, it's exactly what I need to finally turn the page. I know you're convinced yourself of this, but are you sure of what you really wish to achieve by relocating? After all, you recently went through a major trauma, and there's still a lot of ground to cover. Between you and I, you know what I think about your decision, but I can't prevent you from leaving. Did you already find a job there? Yes, I did. I'm a substitute teacher for a math teacher in the village's middle school. A pregnancy leave. 6 months. It should give me enough time to get my bearings. Can I just say, I really like the art style. It's so beautiful. Don't you mind giving up your PhD? Your research career is quite promising. Like, I get where she's coming from. Like, you give up one thing to, like, start fresh on another. So, I like to think Daphne would just, like, she wouldn't want to give up her PhD, but at this point, she has no choice if she wants to start over her life, because it seems like she's just packing up everything and leaving, right? So, of course I do, but if it's not the price to pay to get myself out of this situation, then I have to give it a shot. I see. One last thing. I know your relationship with Frank is quite tense. It is. We broke up recently, you know, and I used to count on his support. After so many years together, I need time. I guess you're finally aware that you're about to break your ties with him? Are you sure you won't regret it later? Did you at least inform him of your plans? Because, like, this is difficult. She's saying that they've been in a relationship for a long time, not sure how long they have been, but she hasn't told him that she's leaving completely, but it seems like she doesn't want to continue her relationship with him, so I guess I'll just say it's not his business anymore? No, I didn't, and it doesn't concern him anymore. Alright. Listen, Daphne, you have my number. Please don't be afraid to call me if you need anything. I'm counting on you. Okay, I will. This is all I can do, and I wish you the best. When are you leaving? Tomorrow. See how, like, beautiful the friggin' artwork is? It's so painterly. It's, like, really simple, but it's very expressive. I like it. Chapter 1, August. I'm leaving tomorrow. I've inherited this family house, my grandmother's. I haven't known her, and now I never will. My mother had burned bridges with that side of the family. The only side, by the way, since I'd never known who my father was. I remember the birthday cards, though. My mother had them hidden between 2 piles of laundry, in the linen closet. If the link had been broken, it wasn't my grandmother's fault. And here I stand, 10 years later, inheriting this big house 300 miles away, having myself cut off all contact with my mother. That's what they call karma, isn't it? The other PhD students asked me to meet with them at the bar. I could also go see Frank to say goodbye. I told Dr. Durant that I didn't want to tell him that I was leaving, but it's my last chance to do so by the book. Am I really sure of my choice? And, of course, I can just go home. What should I do? Okay, I feel like when I did play this game earlier, before the fucking file corrupted, I went to Frank and he wasn't fucking there, so fuck Frank. We could go to the bar. I guess we could say bye to our friends, so I guess we could do that. I went to the bar to meet the other students. I didn't have it in my heart to refuse. I never really integrated myself in this small group. In fact, all they think about is their career at the university. Oh shit, this is kind of depressing. I should have made her go home. I know I'll regret giving up my research, but on the other hand, I didn't see myself having a brilliant career. Despite their cool and easygoing attitude, I know the others would gladly kill each other for an article in Nature. I've been at ease in this environment, and all I wanted to do was help advance science, add my stone to the building. I know it's a bit cliche to think like that, but it's the truth. Science will have to make it do without me, and I don't think it's losing much. Can't believe that. I thought they wanted to surprise me, to celebrate me leaving, but then I haven't told anybody, except my research director. He seems a bit disappointed at first, and then not that much. I should go. I have to take the road early tomorrow. She didn't even tell them! Well, to be fair, she's not really close to them, right? But like, it's kind of sad. This is depressing. That's it. Everything I own is packed up in a couple of boxes. Like, I'd be sad to leave, but I really don't mind. My last night here, I don't know what I'm hoping to find there. A fresh start? I'm trying to convince myself that maybe Dr. Durant is right. Maybe all of this is nothing but evading the issues. Did my mother feel the same way when she left my grandmother's village 30 years ago? Am I walking in her footsteps after all? The difference is that she had me. I'm leaving alone. I'm asking myself too many questions. I've taken my decision. I can't afford to go back. I can't undo what I've done. I'll try to get some sleep. 300 miles. I got up way too early. The trip's going to be long. Little by little, civilization slowly gives away in the empty spaces. It's so beautiful. Look at that. It's so simple, but I love it. The highway is replaced by interlacing small roads, and the clear direction is given on major routes, turned into a tracking game that's getting increasingly trickier as I get closer to my destination. The road goes through a village, which I cross quickly. Although I thought I was getting away from the alterations of the city, all this peace and serenity seems to hide something infurious. So almost ominous. A couple of miles I turn into the dirt track, overrun with weeds. I get close to the gates marking the limits on the family domain. Then on the right I see a small stone house. That must be the outbuilding where a couple of wardens live. It was specific in the act of secession to the notoriety made me sign. I decided to leave the car there. I didn't feel like driving all the way back in reverse if the track turns out to be a dead end. Whoa. Oh yeah. Oh god, okay. Walking a bit further, I see a man coming towards me. He's carrying a rifle and a dead rabbit by the ears. That's not alarming at all. Anyway. Bortine. Mr. Bortine. Okay, I gotta give him like a weird voice. Hello, miss. You're on a private property. Did you take the wrong turn? I don't know. I'm gonna ask for directions. Hello, I'm looking for the Delator family domain. Am I on the right direction? Oh, you're not lost then? Why are you here? I'm Daphne. Adelaide's granddaughter. Gerard Bortine. I'm sorry, I'm butchering all these names. I'm the warden. Oh, I'm the warden. Nobody told me that you were coming. Is the house open? No, well, yes. It's a couple of months now since Miss Delator passed away. So with my wife, Gilberte, we made sure everything was weatherproof, but the door isn't locked. Really? Well, the only path that goes to our house, and there's not a lot of visitors anyway. The villagers usually avoid coming up here, you know. Why? Why are they avoiding the house? People get worked up for nothing around here. An old lady living alone in a big house and who doesn't go out much, that's enough to make them talk. Oh, so they're just a bunch of assholes. Thank you, sir. I'll be in the house if you're looking for me. I'll send my wife, Gilberte. Gilberte. Oh god, Gilberte. She'll help you open the shutters. Keep going along the path. It's not that very far and you can't get lost. Alright, goodbye, Miss Bortine. Have a nice day. About 500 meters further, About 500 feet further, the path in the woods opened a kind of meadow where the house was built. Although several generations of the Delators live here, I discovered this legacy for the first time. The building is impressive, with a tower in the middle of the facade, the last remain of the older version of the castle, and certainly the origin of my family name. So we get a castle, not just like a random house, it's a fucking castle. As promised, the door is unlocked and opens to the entrance hall, plunged in darkness. As I cross the threshold, I'm seized in coolness of the old stones, breaking with the searing heat of the midday sun shining over the garden. Can't see much of the room, but its size promises to be intimidating. That might be a nice change from the tiny city flats I used to live in. I'm desperately trying to open one of the windows to let the light in when I'm surprised by a voice coming from the entrance. Jesus, alright. Just see like an old woman coming out of the darkness, that would scare me. Alright, I gotta give her a stupid voice too. Miss! An old woman is standing in the threshold. Yes? My husband told me that you were coming to the house. Are you planning to stay the night? Much more than the night. I'm moving in. Oh, call me Daphne, please. I'll get my share of miss and madams when I start working at the school. Are you aware of my inheritance? So you're Madam's granddaughter then? She used to talk about you a lot, you know. I remember you. Well, I mean, it was a long time ago. You were still a baby when Miss Sophie left. Madam never got over it. Well, I'm sure you have a lot to tell me, but can't you do it while helping me open the shutters? We're kind of a dick for saying that. Oh, sure, I'm sorry. So, are you moving into the castle? You're going to work at the village's middle school, aren't you? Yes, I'm a math teacher. I'm going to teach there. Well, at least for the next 6 months. I'm a substitute. So tell me, how do you want to proceed? I mean, I know you've been working for my grandmother, but I'm not sure I can afford your services, if you see what I mean. The inheritance left me barely enough to cover the cost of the house for a couple of years. Oh, don't worry. Gerald and we retired 2 years ago, but Madam didn't forget about us in the legacy. She was kind enough to let us live in the outbuildings for the rest of our days. We'll help for as long as we can. My husband and we've done this all our lives. Work doesn't scare us. Anyway, it would be boring to have nothing to do all day. Like, I don't want to ask them to work for free, but, like, if they're offering, I guess it's okay, right? That's great news. Without some help, I don't know how I would have managed to get everything done in such a big house. And we'll be happy to give a hand. Would you like me to get you some groceries from the market tomorrow? I used to do it for Madam. Since Miss Sophie left, she didn't go out much. No, don't worry, I'll go. It'll give me an opportunity to check out the village. God, that's hurting my voice doing that. Like, Miss Bortine helps me make the bed. The windows, now wide open, let the stuffy smell out while ushering the golden light of the sun setting in this nice summer evening. Then she leaves me alone for the first night in my new home. I spend the night watching an antique television in the kitchen while eating, for dinner, the leftovers of a sandwich I bought early on the highway. I try to get some sleep, from far reassuring sounds of the cars and the lights of the city, with forest silence and only interrupted by some disturbing squeaking of the floorboards and hooting of the haunting night owl. It's not surprising that I get quite in a bad mood, and if the sight is empty of the fridge hadn't pushed me back to act, I would have certainly have succumbed to inviting comfort on the sofa and wasted my day napping in the living room. The market, it isn't exactly what I imagined. We can all have this romantic notion of a picturesque little town market, but this one was nothing but purely fictional. Nothing romantic in the butcher's stall, nor the fishmonger's radio, turned way too loud to the local station that seemed to broadcast at this hour of the day. A playlist of songs that used to be popular, but utterly old-fashioned nowadays. So like Backstreet Boys or something? I'm buying some bread when somebody boldly cuts me in line. Oh god, here we go. Oh look at this, it's this prick. Stanislas? Maltaire. I don't know how to pronounce these right. Give me 3 baguettes and 2 nut bread. Sliced, please. I'm sorry, but I believe it was my turn. It will only take an instant, don't worry. Okay, I'm gonna remain calm in the situation. I don't care if it takes an instant or 10 minutes. You're not from around here, are you? What does that have to do with anything? Listen, miss, please inform yourself before you start making a scene. It's a little bit embarrassing. We weren't even making a scene, this fucking douchebag was. See, I'm already done. It didn't take too long, did it? Have a nice day. That man put some change in the baker's hand before disappearing in the streets. Seriously? Who is that guy? You're not from around here, are you? It's the Maltaire's son. His family owns a sawmill that employs half the town. As for the other half, they get all their business with them, one way or another. Does it give him the right to behave like this? You shouldn't cross the Maltaire's, you know. They've been in the town for generations, and people say all sorts of things about them. What kinds of things? Strange accidents, business suddenly going bankrupt. People are quite superstitious here. So are they like the mob or something? They shouldn't take advantage of people like that. That doesn't make any sense though. And don't believe in this stuff. What do you think all this is? I think it's not my business. I'm leaving the area soon, so you'll understand that I don't want to drag myself into this. The others told me to be careful with the family, and I don't want any trouble. That's fair enough. I see. I realized that I've already been here for a couple of days and haven't taken the time to visit the entire house properly. With my tight schedule, I stayed in the main floors, going from my bedroom to the kitchen through the living room. It's high time that I take advantage of the weekend and give myself a grand tour. Maybe I'll learn a thing or two about my grandmother and this family I know nothing about. I could also ask a couple of questions to Miss Bortine. Until now, she remained very evasive. If I go see her outside for work hours, she might be inclined to answer me. She's a very discreet woman, and somehow always manages not to be in the same room as me. If I leave the kitchen for a while, to take a shower for example, when I come back I always find that the leftovers of my breakfast have been put away, the tables have been cleaned up, and the dishwasher is gently humming. I've told her several times not to make my bed, and that I'm perfectly capable of doing it myself. She seems to acknowledge it, but keeps on making it the next morning anyway. Well, it's her job, but that's very nice of her, I guess? I don't know. So I guess she enjoys a friendly visit. What should I start? Okay, I think we should check out, the house first. My grandmother used to live alone in this big house, so she keeps most of the rooms closed to stay in the ground floor, in the left side of the building. I've taken over her quarters, and with the nights getting colder, I'm happy that I don't have to keep the whole house warm. I check the other rooms, the parlors on the ground floor, and multiple bedrooms above. Everything seems frozen in time, the furniture covered up in white linen sheets, maybe waiting for better days to return, like when Adelaide wasn't a widow yet, and my mother was still living under her roof. Her old bedroom hasn't changed since her teen years. Even I can tell from someone who has hurriedly made room for me, this baby who was about to be born. There are still some band posters from the other age pinned to the walls, and a crib where I might have slept my first few nights, before my mother decided to leave. But there wasn't any white linen sheets to protect the furniture of this room. It looked like it had been cleaned up recently. The shot is really cool, I like it. I didn't find the entrance to the tower. I searched inside and outside the house, but no door seems to lead into it. After randomly exploring the corridors of the rooms, I had to admit defeat. I'll ask Miss Bortine about this mystery. However, while I was searching this damn entrance, my feet took me to the basement where I discovered old treasure of wines. The most recent bottles have been around for 30 years old. I guess my grandmother wasn't much of a drinker, and the wine cellar must have remained untouched since her husband passed away. Did my mother come down here in her teen years, defying her parents' rule, to steal a bottle to share with her friends from the village? Was I conceived during one of these parties, celebrated by sacrificing these rare vintages on an altar of youth? Okay, whoa, that's a little bit, alright. With my mother Sophie not being sober enough to resist the charms of a young local farmer? When I was old enough to ask, she always answered with a hand gesture that my father was from the village and hadn't wanted to recognize this child he didn't ask for. All in all, she said that we were better off without him. Maybe I could bring the bottle to Miss Bortine. We could take it as, a thank you, because, that's what I feel like Daphne wants to do. I'd be like, thanks for, helping me with the house and shit like that, so I want to take it. As I take the bottle from the shelf to decipher the dusty label, it slips from my hand and breaks. Oh, shit. Suddenly, I'm overwhelmed by this feeling, as if I'm violating something sacred, trampling on the memories of my grandfather, who might have selected this precious vintage to celebrate something special. I begin to question my intentions. Is offering this bottle an honest mark of affection towards the kind old lady, or am I planning to get Miss Bortine drunk in order to extort her for more information from her? Okay, My opinion, I don't think we're doing it, like, in a bad way. We're like, hey, you want to get drunk? And, like, stuff like that. I think it's, like, in an innocent way, but I guess you can see how it could be, like, oh, I'm gonna get her drunk so I can extract information about my family and shit like that. But, I don't know. I'm gonna give it to her. So is this evil? Like, I don't know. The moon evil? I'm not sure. A white boar... I don't know what that is. I don't drink, okay? She should like it. And anyway, I don't think I have to drink myself blind with Miss Bortine. I'm sure I can drink responsibly. Good morning, Miss Bortine. How are you doing? Oh, hi, Miss Daphne. My joints are aching today. Must be the weather getting colder. Summer always goes so fast. It's almost fall already. Can you believe it? But enough about me. I'm sure you haven't come around to hear an old maid complain about her that. Alright, let's talk about Mom's bedroom. I visited the house, gone into every room, and I noticed all the furniture was covered with white linen sheets. Yes, it's madam, your grandmother, who asked me to close most of the rooms. She lived alone in the house and never had any visitors. It was to prevent the furniture from being damaged. Why are you asking? Did you want to open up the rest of the house? No, that's not what I was asking. One of the rooms, I guess it's my mother's old bedroom. Why wasn't it closed, as you say? Because Madam asked me to keep it freshly clean. You know, when Miss Sophie left, it broke her heart. She wasn't the same afterwards, right until she died. She never gave hope that your mother would come back. She asked me to make her room every day, just in case, she used to say. Oh, that's really sad. I wonder what happened between the mom and the grandmother. Because, like Daphne said, it seemed like the mother was the one who initiated it to leave, so I don't know. Okay, what about the tower? I couldn't find the entrance to the tower. Do you know how to get inside? Well, I can't say, miss, no. I couldn't tell you about how to get in if my life depended on it. Madam, your grandmother used to say it was walled up, and would rather not know what was inside. Why? Do you mean that no one has gotten inside the tower since, what, 30 years ago? 40 years ago? Whoa, way more than that. I'm 67. I've been here since I was 14, and I always knew the tower like this. So no one knows what's inside, right? You must have your own idea, don't you? You must have heard something in the village, right? Well, there's just gossip, nothing worth talking about. What are you talking about? Please don't insist, miss. With all due respect, I can't revolve myself to defile your late grandmother's name. Something else? Bought you a bottle! I found this bottle in the cellar. Would you like to share a small glass with me? Oh, I'm not sure that's reasonable, miss. Allow me to insist. It would be really a pleasure. You wouldn't let me drink by myself, would you? Alright, if you insist, then I'll get a small glass for me. Something else? Okay, so when I did play this earlier, if you get her to drink, she mentions that, like, people in the village started rumors about Daphne's grandmother, about her being a witch, and shit like that. Which I find really interesting, because it would make sense why Daphne finds the house very ominous, and then, like, why the tower is bolted up. But I don't know, it could be just rumors, you know what I mean? Tell me what it was like in the old days. I mean, before Mom left. When your mother left, we were already at the end of a rope, if you allow me, miss. There were only your grandmother, Madame Adelaide, and Miss Sophie living here. Your grandfather died when your mother was a little girl. An illness took him without warning. The doctors didn't know what to do for this poor man. When I had arrived, it was something else. There were lots of people living in the castle. The cousins, the uncles, the aunts, the swarm of children. What happened? I don't know, really. It was unexplained deaths, accidents. And some of them left the area, got out of touch. It all started when the Maltesers bought the small sawmill. See, is it like witches and like wizards? Like, I don't know what's going on here, you know what I mean? It seems like they have like an old rivalry like with their families. And at the same time, that lady in the bakery said like the Maltesers family like make people disappear if they really wanted to. So that's really fucking weird. There must be a connection. That seems crazy, but there must be a connection, don't you think? Can you really believe it's a coincidence? I can't tell, miss. All I can say is that when the Maltesers flourish, the Delatories wither. I met Maltese's son at the bakery. That's hooligan? I know it's none of my business, but you should be wary of him. He's good for nothing who spends his time doing who knows what hanging around his car. Like, again, I don't, want to judge people, but he was being a dick, so kind of have to agree with, her right now. You're right, he's acting like a jerk with me. Ah, do you see? Exactly my point. Well, since you were asking about the past, would you like to see an old picture album? Sure, tell me where I can find them. I'd love to take a look, thank you. The cupboard in the living room. There are even some pictures taken by your great-grandfather, you'll see. I found old pictures of Miss Bortine, where Miss Bortine told me they would be. To discover my great-grandfather had an early passion for the darkroom, and his photography from the late century had survived this time. The family was larger then, with a swarm of children in the garden and large tables holding gatherings. If I could read worry on the adults' faces, if the future ruined the declaration of the House Dilator, could already crack the walls and yellow of the wallpapers. I found a couple of pictures of my mother, as a child first, then a young girl. I must admit, I was moved by this discovery, since I had never seen what she used to look like when she was younger. The last picture showed her belly getting rounder and rounder, and then nothing. No more pictures, as if nothing worth documenting had happened during the last 30 years. Talking with Miss Bortine aroused my curiosity. The tower, the village, the Maltaires, and I thought my relocation would mean living a life in autisserie and isolation. What's going on in this village? I must admit, much more intriguing than I anticipated. Unfortunately, the chores of everyday life is catching up with me before I have the leisure to think about it. I had no choice but to dedicate the last days of August in preparation of my classes in middle school, and I didn't realize how much time-consuming it was. So I spent most of the time confined in the house, spawning up the textbooks of each class I was given. Then the first day of school arrived, and I was quickly found my bearings of my new job. I would have never thought that teaching the mathematics would give me so much pleasure and satisfaction. Oh, that's good, at least, because she was so upset about, her PhD, so that's so good. At least she can find happiness in, teaching, you know what I mean? Thus, I got quicker into the routine as the days began to pass me like trains. Chapter 2, September. Okay! So I'm going to end the video right here, since I'm not sure how many chapters are in this game, but I hope you guys enjoyed chapter 1. This game is really interesting to me, just because I know it didn't show in the video, but when I played earlier, there was mention of witchcraft, and I have a suspicion that maybe the grandmother was a witch. That could explain this stuff here, for her Daphne's personality, because I don't know much about witchcraft and shit like that, but it just seems like it would be connected. At the same time, her family, majority of it had been serious accidents. The tower is blocked off. The Maltaires are gangsters, but they're at war with her family. So I don't know, it's really interesting. If you guys want me to continue this video, please let me know. Leave a like, just so I know that you guys want to continue the videos, because if you don't, then I'm not going to make any more, you know what I mean? But yeah, if you guys like this game, let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen, because I'm really curious as to what's happening. I love the whole Life is Strange vibe of this game. It's really cool. And I love the art style because it's so beautiful. Even the music, it's very calming. And how the story is written, the way the script is, it's very beautiful. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to join the companions. And yeah, if you want me to continue it, then I guess I'll see you in the next chapter. I love you guys. Bye. Silas, what are you doing?